Pyká project adds power and flexibility to your project workflow. To understand a Pyká project, we first need to look at a regular project. A regular project is nothing more than a collection of digital files and folders arranged in a certain way. In this way, most regular projects are really just the last version of an idea in a long line of versions. But this isn't how intelligent and creative people actually work. If you look at the workflow of a normal person, they start with an idea and work along a certain thought process until they hit a stopping point. Maybe they want to check with their clients or coworkers to see how they're doing. Maybe they need someone else to step in so they can work on other things. Maybe they have several ideas for how the project could proceed and want to try them all out. Maybe their clients want to see the project completed a few different ways so they can decide how they want it to evolve. This is where normal project storage systems begin to fail. A quick change or a new idea or a different version becomes a disorganized mess of files and folders on a hard drive. Since the time and energy of creating a project is valuable, shouldn't we be able to keep every version? What if we want to roll the project back to an earlier version that was working better? And when we try out different ideas, shouldn't we be able to keep them all without creating a mess of folders? In other words, shouldn't our projects work as fluidly and flexibly as we do? With Pyká, the answer to this question is yes. Pyká projects look a little bit different than regular projects. Pyká projects look a lot like a tree. Every point on a Pyká project's tree represents a version of your project. A version is a perfect snapshot of your project in time. It contains all of the files that were used and remembers exactly how they were arranged. At the top of your project tree is the first version of your project. A string of versions is called a branch. As you make changes to your project, you commit those changes to the branch you're working on. When you commit, Pyká takes another snapshot of your project. Then, under the hood, Pyká uses sophisticated algorithms to look at every file in your project and do three things. First, it looks for files it has never seen before and saves them. Second, it looks for files that haven't changed and ignores them. Third, it looks for files that it has seen before that have changed. Then it compares the new version of the file to the old version of the file and strips the parts of the file that didn't change. That way, Pyká can keep every version of a file while conserving storage space by not duplicating files. Then when you reopen this version, Pyká carefully reconstructs the project as it was using the old, new, and changed data. But you don't have to worry about any of this. The beauty of Pyká projects is that they aren't linear. This means you can split a branch into many different directions. You can try an idea one way or many ways, and all of it will be saved and organized by Pyká. Let's start by double-clicking a project to open it. Once Pyká has opened a project, the first thing it wants to know is if you want to save the main branch. The main branch is sort of like a bookmark. While Pyká saves all branches you commit, the main branch represents the official branch of your project. Let's click Save and save our branch folder on the desktop. This recreates the branch's last committed version in that folder. If we double-click that folder on the desktop, we'll see that this version of our project has been perfectly recreated by Pyká. The branch in the sidebar is now tracking the folder we saved on the desktop. Let's look at our branch history by clicking the Tree button. The Tree view shows us every version of our project. If we've selected a branch in the sidebar, it shows us how that branch fits into the history of the project. If you have a magic pad, you can pinch to zoom in and out. There is only one version in this view, so the branch we opened is the very first version for this project. Let's go back to our icon view by clicking the Icons button. Let's open the file in our branch folder and make some edits. Now that we've finished making our changes, let's commit this version to our branch so those changes are saved. To do this, we click the Commit button. Pyká wants us to write a little bit about the changes we made to the project. It saves this information so that later, When we look at the project history, we'll have an idea of the edits that were made in every version. Let's name our branch and write some information about it. Now let's click Commit. Pyká is taking a snapshot and figuring out the changes that we made to our project. It only wants to keep the data that was changed from the last version. That way, it can perfectly reconstruct our project while saving the smallest amount of data. It's important during this process not to change anything in the project folder until Pyká is finished. Since we made a small change to our image, Pyká only saved the image data that was different. Now let's take a look at what we've done. Select the main branch and click the tree button. The tree button shows us the edit history of Pyká projects and assets. We should see our two versions. If we double-click the first version, Pyká will ask us if we're sure we want to switch the main branch. There will be more on this later. For now, click Yes. Pyká wants to know if we want to commit before switching, but we just committed, so we don't need to do that right now. Click Skip and Switch. Pyká is recreating the very first version of this project. If we look at our branch folder, we will see the original image before we made our edits. If we go back to Pyká and double-click the second version, we will be asked again if we want to change the main branch. Click Yes again. Now Pyká will ask us again if we want to commit, but we haven't made any changes, so that's not necessary. Remember, committing commits any changes we've made. Click Skip and Switch. Now Pyká is reconstructing the second commit of our project using everything it knows. If we look at our branch folder, we see again that Pyká recreated the second version of our project inside that folder. In Pyká, a branch represents our current place in a line of edits. But what if we wanted to split a branch so we could try an idea a few different ways? In Pyká, that's a total breeze. Start by selecting a branch you want to split from the sidebar, then click the Split button. Save your second branch in a folder and Pyká will make a perfect copy of the branch you were working on. Now you can make different changes to either branch because Pyká is tracking each branch independently of the other. But remember, these changes won't be saved in your Pyká project until you commit the branches. If we want to add another branch for our project to track, click Add Branch under your project in the sidebar. Then save your new branch folder on the desktop. This new branch folder starts at the very first version on the project tree. If we want to switch to a different branch, select the branch you want to switch in the sidebar. Then click the tree button and double-click one of the versions we want to switch to. Then click Skip and Switch because we haven't made any changes. If we've decided we're done with the branch, all we have to do is select the branch in the sidebar and click Close. Pyká will ask us if we wish to commit the branch before closing. If you've made changes and want Pyká to save them, click Commit. If not, click Close. Since Pyká never ever wants to delete data without your permission, it will not delete the branch folder from your desktop. But it is no longer tracking it. So you might want to back up your data. Since I'm done with this folder and already have it backed up, I'm going to drag it to the trash. Finally, there's one more important safety tip. While Pyká is incredibly delicate with your files and projects, Pyká is not intended as a backup solution, and even the best storage systems fail. So always remember to use a reliable, dedicated backup service to keep separate backups of everything you wish to save. Moreover, when switching branches, Pyká overwrites the contents of the folder it's tracking, so always back up any data you wish to save before you switch branches. There's one branch that can't be closed. That's called the main branch. The main branch is the one line of edits that the rest of Pyká sees. When you watch a project, you're probably watching the main branch. When you incorporate projects inside other projects, Pyká uses the main branch. When you switch any other branch, Pyká just rebuilds the version of that branch as it was when you originally committed it. But when you switch the main branch, Pyká also notes that the main branch has changed before it rebuilds that branch's commit. And anyone watching or using this project in the future will use whatever version you set for the main branch. The main branch is the branch that represents your Pyká project throughout Pyká.